Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Inland Port in Terrace, BC. Before we get started, I want to introduce the representative from Kitsilas First Nation. And Chief Glenn Bennett is not here today. He's on a trade mission, but he sent his representative. His name is Cyril Nablas. We know him as CJ. So would you please welcome CJ to the podium?
Great to see you, my friend. Thanks very much.
Thank you
Really
for having
appreciate it.
Why? Sim gigat. Sigaram hana. Leakigat. Gubawalsik. Loose spike knots. Dawayu. Githouse. Gitsalasu. Noatgu. Hlabach lakskan. Lachupum. Gitsalasu. Ada. Gitsam Khalam, Lachwalams, Metlakatla. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Bienvenue sur les territoires de la Kitsalas. Je m'appelle Cyril Bennett Nabes. Je suis le chief adjoint. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not as tall as my friends here, so I kind of have to stand to the right. But on behalf of the people of Kitsalas, and my neighboring nations, I would like to welcome you to our homelands, the homelands of the Kitsalas, the Tsimshian, the Metlakatla, and the Lachwalams people, all of which call these lands home. It is a great honor to have you here today, to be a part of this morning, and to be a part of this session. With that, Hlabach Lakskan, bienvenue, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful.
I have a gift for you.
Oh, that's
later.
good.
Always a
Awesome.
gift.
French?
Glenn.
French?
Thank you.
My dad's side.
Great.
Okay. Thank you very much, CJ. Hello, everyone. I'm Ellis Ross. I'm your Conservative candidate for Skeena, Bulkley Valley, and I want to thank you for coming today. I have the honor of hosting Pierre Poilievre today for our Canada First announcement. After his Liberal lost decade with costs up and crime up and our economy down and under America's thumb, it's clear that the Liberals don't deserve a fourth term. It's time to put Canada first for a change, with a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, build homes, unleash our resources, stop crime, and bring home jobs, to stand up to Trump from a position of strength. Pierre Poilievre is the only one who can bring change to Canada. Here to tell you more about our plan, I have the pleasure of introducing the only man who can stop Mark Carney. Would you please welcome the leader of the Canada First Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Alice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alice. And thank you, Cyril, for bringing greetings on behalf of Chief Bennett. And you said that you're not as tall as the two of us. The important thing is that your legs are long enough to reach the ground. So thank you very much for a great prayer and a wonderful land acknowledgement to welcome us to this great land of yours. And merci beaucoup à Ellis Ross, un grand chef autochtone, l'ancien chef des Haisla, qui est responsable pour avoir négocié la construction de LNG Canada, le plus grand projet de l'infrastructure dans l'histoire du pays. Un projet approuvé par le gouvernement conservateur avant la mise en œuvre de C-69, la loi anti-développement des libéraux. J'ai besoin de Ellis Ross avec moi sur la colline parlementaire pour qu'on puisse rapidement abroger la loi C-69, enlever le plafond sur l'énergie et la production d'énergie canadienne, enrichir nos Premières Nations avec des projets de ressources naturelles et ramener des emplois ici au Canada pour briser notre dépendance sur les Américains. Et c'est ça le choix dans les élections qui s'en viennent. Est-ce qu'on va avoir un quatrième mandat des libéraux qui ont augmenté la crime et les coûts et ont affaibli notre économie face aux Américains? Ou bien est-ce qu'on aura un changement pour mettre le Canada d'abord en approuvant nos ressources, coupant les taxes et impôts et ramenant nos emplois ici pour tenir tête à Donald Trump. Mais avant de commencer avec notre annonce aujourd'hui, permettez-moi de commenter la situation économique qu'on voit aujourd'hui. I should say just quickly in English before I get started, Ellis Ross is our great candidate for this region. He is a former MLA. He is also the former first counselor of the Haisla First Nation, who personally helped negotiate the single biggest infrastructure project in Canadian history. LNG Canada, $40 billion of investment brought to this region because of his leadership, with First Nations being the primary beneficiaries. I need Ellis Ross on Parliament Hill helping me land more $40 billion LNG plants for our people nationwide on all the coasts. And I can't wait to bring the incredible riches to the Haisla, the Kitsala, the Niska, the Squamish, and countless other coastal First Nations who want to build LNG export terminals. They know that Prime Minister Harper was right to approve LNG Canada. They know that that project could only have happened without C-69, the anti-development liberal law that Mark Carney wants to keep in place. But speaking of economic matters, we are all watching the stock market with interest today. We have to acknowledge that this chaos is the direct result of wrong-headed, unnecessary, chaotic policies coming from President Trump. These tariffs are a massive distraction, and they remind us why it was such a mistake for the Liberals to make us so dependent on the Americans over the lost Liberal decade. Now, obviously, Mark Carney will be trotting out his trophy titles and the inflated hype around his false resume claims on this day. But let's be clear, at this time, the last thing we need is to take a risk on the failed ideas of Mark Carney. Mark Carney has been wrong about every major economic issue of our time. He was wrong to support carbon taxes. He was wrong to oppose pipelines. He was wrong 4 years ago when he said the biggest risk to the world was deflation and proposed hundreds of billions of dollars of money printing. He was wrong when he caused the inflation crisis in Great Britain and the housing crisis in that country. He's been universally condemned by the British media, even though back here in Canada, the media covers up his failed record and his terrible reputation in the United Kingdom. We cannot afford a fourth Liberal term of Mark Carney driving up spending, money printing, taxes, and inflation while blocking our resource projects. We cannot afford that risk. We need a new Conservative government for a change that will axe taxes, greenlight construction of homes, mines, pipelines, LNG plants, bring home our jobs so that we can reinforce our economic fortress against the Americans. In the short term, my government has already proposed an immediate response to help our seniors. We've proposed to delay by 2 years the time when seniors must withdraw their savings from their RSP and be taxed on it. This 2-year delay will save many seniors from being forced to crystallize losses they're experiencing on the stock market today. We know that seniors should not pay the price for Donald Trump's economic vandalism over the last several days, and that is why we will allow our seniors to keep their money invested until they regain their lost amounts. We've also announced that we will allow seniors who choose to work to earn up to $34,000 tax-free. That's $10,000 more than right now. Je veux dire premièrement quelques mots à propos du chaos des marchés financiers auxquels les Canadiens et le reste du monde font face. C'est le résultat direct des décisions chaotiques et mauvaises de Donald Trump qui ont causé ça. En même temps, il ne faut vraiment pas se fier à un autre homme qui a eu tort sur toutes les questions économiques de notre époque. Mark Carney avait tort de supporter la taxe carbone. Il avait tort de bloquer les projets de ressources naturelles. Il avait tort il y a 4 ans quand il a dit que le plus grand risque pour le monde était la déflation, tout en proposant d'imprimer des centaines de milliards de dollars, ce qui a causé l'inflation. Il est le conseiller économique à Justin Trudeau qui a contribué à la décennie perdue des libéraux. On ne peut pas payer le prix d'un 4e mandat libéral. On a besoin d'un vrai changement pour couper les taxes et impôts, approuver des projets de ressources naturelles et la construction de logements et ramener la production ici au Canada pour renforcer notre économie face aux Américains. Je vais aussi réitérer l'annonce que j'ai faite avec beaucoup de prévisions, c'est-à-dire de permettre aux aînés de garder leur REER pour un autre 2 ans. Ça va leur permettre de ne pas payer les taxes et accepter les pertes dans leurs investissements. Donc, je sais que les autres chefs sont en train de copier, de faire le plagiat encore en copiant mes idées aujourd'hui, mais je prends ça comme un complément. Nous allons protéger nos aînés et nous allons permettre aux aînés de gagner juste à 34 000 $ libres d'impôts s'ils décident de travailler. Donc, there's no reason why we as Canadians cannot be the richest country in the world. We have the most resources, the most land, the most coastline per capita, pretty much any other country on earth. Well, there is one reason we're not the richest in the world. It's the lost Liberal decade. They've hiked taxes on investment, energy, work, home building, and of course they passed C-69, the anti-development law that Mark Carney says he wants to keep in place. They have also capped our energy production. As soon as Justin Trudeau and his economic advisor Mark Carney got their hands on Canada's resource policy, they began blocking projects. They blocked $178 billion of resource projects in the last decade. Mr. Carney has said, and I quote, "More than 80% of current fossil fuel reserves would need to stay in the ground." End quote. Unfortunately, this is the one promise that the Liberals have not broken. They brought in an industrial carbon tax and C-69, the no pipelines, no development law, and they've capped energy production in Canada. Mr. Carney says he wants to keep all those 3 policies in place. Avec toutes nos ressources naturelles, le Canada devrait être le pays le plus riche au monde, le pays le plus autonome au monde. Rien ne justifie notre échec de la dernière décennie libérale. Rien ne justifie que notre nation, notre pays n'est pas capable d'exploiter notre plein potentiel pour développer nos ressources économiques et créer des emplois dans nos régions. Malheureusement, pendant les 10 dernières années, les libéraux ont placé notre économie en position de faiblesse face aux Américains. Justin Trudeau et son conseiller économique, Mark Carney, ont bloqué sans raison 178 milliards de dollars de projets de ressources naturelles. Justin Trudeau et Mark Carney, c'est du pareil au même. Même équipe libérale, même recette libérale, même résultat libéral. Mark Carney a lui-même dit vouloir garder 80% de notre énergie dans la terre. Malheureusement, ça c'est une approche qui va tuer des emplois et nous rendre plus dépendants sur les Américains et Donald Trump. Les libéraux ont introduit une taxe carbone sur nos industries. Ils ont mis en place la loi C-69 qui bloque les projets de développement et qui va empêcher GNL Québec pour le futur. It's the same Liberal ministers, same Liberal MPs, same Liberal policies, and it will have the same Liberal results. The Liberal war on Canada's resource economy has been devastating, just as the Liberals intended. Between 2015 and 2020, they killed 16 monster resource projects amounting to over $170 billion of lost investment in our economy. It now takes 17 years to get a project in mining approved, nearly 25% longer than in Australia and 40% longer in the States. This was by design. Liberals don't like these projects. Their radical environmental ideology prevents it from happening. We should be selling our resources to the world, breaking dependence on Putin and other foreign dictators, and going around the Americans. Canadian oil and clean natural gas should be displacing coal and reducing emissions worldwide by allowing India and other Asian countries to use our gas instead of dirty coal. But now we export 98% of our energy to the Americans at massive price discounts. That puts us at the tender mercies of Donald Trump and the Americans. I should point out, we are selling natural gas for $4 per British thermal unit to the Americans. It goes for $15 in Europe. So we're selling something for $4 that we could be getting $15 for. But for the fact that we don't have any export terminals that can move the gas overseas. All of them blocked by the Liberals. Only one is nearing completion, and that is LNG Canada here in this region, over in Kitimat, and that was a project approved by the previous Conservative government, and only could have happened with an industrial carbon tax exemption and by approval under the previous pre-C69 rules. Today, with the industrial carbon tax, the Liberal industrial carbon tax, the Liberal energy cap, and the Liberal law C69, that project never would have happened. The Conservative Party is going to reverse the Liberal agenda of blocking and keeping in the ground our resources. Today I'm rolling out the next phase of our Canadian economic plan. I call it one and done. This rule will cut through red tape and get projects done quickly. Build fast, bringing jobs and paychecks home. This is what one and done means. First, we will establish a one-stop shop. One desk called the Rapid Resource Project Office will handle all regulatory approvals across all levels of government so businesses don't have to waste time navigating through dozens of different agencies at 3 different levels of government. We will do this in partnership with provinces, First Nations, and municipalities, getting them to sign on to merging together their various processes. We will get rid of the double process right now where you have to do the exact same environmental review 3 different times for 3 different levels of government. We'll merge them together, one and done. Next, we will end duplication so there is only one application and review, ensuring efficiency without sacrificing standards. It's not about reducing our environmental or public safety protections. It's about merging them into one simplified step instead of overlapping processes. We did this during the great global recession of 08-09. Stephen Harper said we want 1-page application for municipal infrastructure, 1 environmental review. And guess what? We completed 23,500 projects from concept to completion in under 2 years, and the Environment Commissioner could not find a single problem with any of them affecting our ecology or our nature. So it can be done fast and safe. 3, I will guarantee decisions on major projects within a maximum of 1 year, but the target will be 6 months or sooner. No more delays, no more uncertainty, no more caps on Canadian growth and ambition. Ça suffit. On a besoin d'un nouveau gouvernement conservateur avec un plan pour faire approuver et bâtir des projets de l'infrastructure pour débloquer nos ressources, reconstruire notre économie et ouvrir de nouveaux marchés afin de nous rendre moins dépendants des États-Unis pour faire changement. Le Parti conservateur a un plan et j'en annonce aujourd'hui un élément. C'est un plan simple et rapide. Mon plan va permettre de réduire la paperasse. Mon plan va aussi permettre de créer des emplois. Premièrement, je vais mettre un guichet unique, un bureau où toutes les entreprises peuvent aller pour avoir l'approbation à tous les niveaux du gouvernement. C'est-à-dire, on va éliminer le dédoublement d'approbation. Donc, 2, je vais supprimer les doublons. Il y aura donc une seule étude environnementale par projet. Ça va garantir l'efficacité sans sacrifier les normes environnementales. Au lieu de multiplier des études redondantes qui bloquent les projets, le gouvernement va travailler avec les autres niveaux pour les fusionner en un. Ça, c'est une demande que M. François Legault a déjà fait et je vais respecter son approche. Troisièmement, je vais m'assurer que les décisions concernant les grands projets seront prises dans un délai d'un an maximum, mais avec le but de 6 mois. Fini les retards, fini l'incertitude, fini les limites sur notre potentiel économique. Mark Carney and his team of Liberals have forgotten you, the people who want to work and create opportunities. They have anti-development laws like C-69, the industrial carbon tax, and the energy cap that will make sure no projects ever go ahead. That is why we cannot trust the Liberals to a fourth term in power. They have the same Liberal MPs, same Liberal advisors, same failed Liberal policies, same broken promises. Mark Carney is not real change. He is doubling down on the same lost Liberal decade from which we now need to escape with real change. The single most powerful thing we can do to break our dependence on the Americans and bring jobs and dollars home would be to rapidly expand our energy production and exports. But Mark Carney has said he wants to keep the industrial carbon tax, keep C-69, the no development law, keep the resource and energy cap. And get this, just a couple of days ago, after the Liberals saw my commitment to get LNG Canada Phase 2 built, they rushed out Minister Wilkinson to tell you that, surprise, now they've changed their position on that too. Except it comes with a big fast asterisk. The minister says, and I quote, "We'd like to see a positive decision, but the project would have to fit within the government's climate architecture." Their climate architecture. That is code for saying the project will never happen. Furthermore, the company who is investing in this project says they cannot do it with the energy cap, C-69, or the industrial carbon tax. So in other words, it would be impossible to complete LNG Canada if the Liberals stay in power, no matter what deathbed conversions or last-minute promises they now try to make. The Liberals are going to continue with the same failed approach. A resume is not a plan, nor is continuing with the same policies Mr. Carney advised Trudeau to take over the last 5 years. The last Conservative government, of which I was a part, had an economic action plan to grow the economy and make it less reliant on America. That's why Stephen Harper approved LNG Canada before the Liberals took office. And that's why I'm announcing today that I'm approving Phase 2 of LNG Canada. It will go ahead if I am elected, and we will make sure that it will be jobs for local people, including the great Haisla workers with whom our friend Ellis Ross has been working. We will also tap into the rich mining potential of northern BC to start economic boom for the region in gold, silver, copper, critical minerals, and increased refining and exporting capacity. We will learn from the success of LNG Canada on how we can get things built with First Nations and ensure that they enjoy prosperity. I will even allow the companies who build this project to pay a share of their federal corporate taxes directly to the First Nations in the area, creating own source revenue that will build schools, clean drinking water systems, hospitals, and other wonderful opportunities for the young people. This is on top of other projects that we will improve right across the country. In today's press release, you'll see that I've listed 10 projects that are trapped in the Liberal system waiting for an approval. I will rapidly approve them all, and I will invite many more to come to the fore. Ça inclut GNL Québec. On a besoin de GNL Québec au Saguenay. On va le mettre de l'avant, même si les libéraux et le Bloc s'y opposent. So the choice is clear, my friends. Do we want a fourth Liberal term of keeping our resources in the ground and keeping Canada under America's thumb? Or do we want a new Conservative government that will approve projects, unlock resources, unleash our economy, so that we can be strong, self-reliant, sovereign, and stand on our own 2 feet against the Americans? Le choix qui s'offre aux Canadiens est simple. Est-ce qu'on veut un 4e mandat des libéraux qui ont bloqué l'exploitation de nos ressources naturelles et placé notre économie en position de faiblesse face aux Américains? Ou est-ce qu'on veut un nouveau gouvernement conservateur qui va débloquer des projets et ramener nos emplois ici pour faire face aux Américains avec la force canadienne? C'est ça le choix. That is the choice. It's time to put Canada first for a change. That means partnering with First Nations, approving projects, expanding ports, building pipelines, digging mines, axing taxes, and getting it done for a change. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to questions. Please say your name and outlet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chuck Chang with the Canadian Press. Mr. Poilievre, how quickly do you think these fast-track programs can go ahead, considering that there's also provincial and municipal jurisdiction? And are you confident that the proper environmental and First Nation Indigenous consultations on these projects have been done in order to facilitate these fast tracks? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your question. I didn't get your name.
Chuck Chang, Canadian
Chuck.
Press.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Yes, a very important question. My goal is to bring First Nations, municipalities, and provinces all under the same tent. Let's sit down and put together the checklist of all the things we need to approve, put it in one office that is accountable to all levels of government, and let the company then apply to the project right there. I'm convinced we can get these projects approved in as little as 6 months. We should be able to. That's what they do in other countries. Let me give you an example. In Germany, they built an LNG import terminal from concept to completion in 178 days. That's not the approval process. That was approval and construction. That's how things happen in the rest of the world. In Canada, we're in a parallel universe here, where it takes 14, 15 years to go through the bureaucracy. In the rest of the world, things are getting done in months, not years. And that's what we're going to have to do. We need to move at the speed of business to bring our jobs home and become self-reliant. Because after the lost Liberal decade of rising costs and crime and a falling economy under America's thumb, we can't afford a Liberal fourth term. We need a new Conservative government that will green-light projects, axe taxes, and bring our jobs home for a change.
En français.
Merci beaucoup. Une très bonne question. Moi, je crois qu'on peut le faire dans 6 mois, mais au maximum 1 an. Il faut reconnaître qu'ailleurs au monde, ça se fait rapidement. Les Allemands ont bâti une usine d'importation de gaz naturel dans 178 jours. Ça inclut l'approbation et la construction. C'est comme ça que ça marche ailleurs. Donc, attendre 14 ans pour un permis, c'est pas normal. Moi, on va fusionner les processus municipal, provincial, fédéral, des Premières Nations dans un seul bureau pour accélérer l'approbation et compléter la tâche. Après les décennies perdues des libéraux, on peut pas attendre un autre 4e mandat libéral. Il faut ramener les emplois ici, couper les taxes, débloquer les projets avec un nouveau gouvernement conservateur pour faire changement. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. We will now take a call-in question from the phone line.
Your next question is from Rob Shaw from Czech News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Poilievre. I'm sure, as you know, a big question about Phase 2 of LNG Canada is whether it should be forced to run on electricity to reduce pollution. And I take it, based on what you're saying today about your sort of pre-approval, you would not require electrification and it could just go ahead and run on natural gas. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. And to be clear, Mr. Shaw, the project will not go ahead if it cannot run on natural gas. It won't happen. So when the Liberals say that they're going to ban LNG Canada from using gas to power the plant, what they're saying is the plant will not be allowed to happen. And let's be very clear. If the Liberals are reelected, this expansion will not occur for 4 reasons. 1, the energy cap that they are imposing makes it impossible. And you can ask the company about that. You don't have to take my word for it. 2, the industrial carbon tax. The only way LNG Canada #1 went ahead is because it had a carbon tax exemption. 3, C-69, which will mean that it's 10 years of bureaucracy and hearings and back and forth that no company is going to waste millions and billions of dollars on. And 4, Liberals want to insist that it run on electricity and not on gas. That makes it impossible to finance. So for 4 reasons, there is no way the Liberals will ever allow this to happen. If you want energy independence, if you want these monstrous, big, beautiful projects to go ahead, you are going to need a change in government with a Canada First Conservative Prime Minister.
En français.
Oui, la réponse est oui. Je vais permettre le projet d'aller de l'avant en utilisant le gaz. Sans cette décision, le projet va jamais se faire produire. C'est trop cher. Donc, les libéraux, si les libéraux sont réélus pour un 4e mandat, ça va jamais se produire. On sait pourquoi. Ils ont mis 4 obstacles en face de ce projet. Un, c'est la loi C-69, la loi anti-développement, qui va le bloquer. 2, la taxe industrielle de carbone. La première phase de ce projet avait besoin d'une exemption à cette taxe. 3, le plafond sur la production énergétique. La compagnie dit que c'est impossible de le faire avec ce plafond. Et 3, l'obligation d'utiliser l'électricité pour les liquéfaction. On a besoin de gaz naturel pour le faire. Donc, simple choix. Allez-vous élire les libéraux pour un 4e mandat pour bloquer ce projet massif ou bien allez-vous choisir un vrai changement avec un nouveau gouvernement conservateur qui va débloquer le projet et ramener nos emplois ici? Merci.
Thank you. We will now go to another call-in question from the phone line.
Your next question is from Tom Fletcher from Northern Beat. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Canada is a little late to the party for LNG. We're behind Australia, Qatar, Indonesia, Malaysia, and of course the USA now. Can Canada still compete for more LNG on the West Coast or even on the East Coast?
Thank you, Mark Carney. Thank you, Justin Trudeau. Those two said there was no business case for LNG over the last decade. And as you correctly point out, all the other countries knew better. And in the state during the time when the last lost Liberal decade, where Carney and Trudeau were blocking these projects here, we saw 8 new plants go up in the States. Qatar doubled its production and signed supply agreements with France. We've seen other countries unleash their natural gas potential. I understand now Alaska is looking at exporting LNG. So you're right. That is the lost Liberal decade. But no, we're not too late. There's still going to be massive demand for LNG because it is the cheapest, one of the cheapest and cleanest ways to power an electrical grid without coal. And so if we move now, if we reject a 4th Liberal term and elect a new Conservative government that will rapidly approve major projects like LNG Canada Part 2, LNG Quebec, and others, then we can get our gas to the world. We have huge advantages over the Americans. It takes 11 days to ship to Asia from BC. It takes 20 days to ship from the U.S. Gulf Coast. We have cold weather. It's nice and crisp out here today. That reduces the cost of liquefaction by 25%. Well, how do you liquefy a gas? You cool it down. We've already got a natural cooling system. It's called our climate. And also, we have abundant energy to power that liquefaction. So we have enormous advantages over the Americans, the Qataris, and countless others. We just need to get this Liberal government out of the way and elect a new Conservative government that will get it done for a change.
En français.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Trudeau, Monsieur Carney. Vous avez bloqué notre opportunité pendant une décennie lorsque les Américains, les Qataris, les Australiens et les autres ont poursuivi ces projets. Mais donner un 4e mandat aux mêmes libéraux qui ont bloqué ces projets, c'est exactement le contraire de ce qu'on devrait faire. Non, on a un avantage énorme ici au Canada. La météo froid rend la liquéfaction moins chère. Ça prend 11 jours d'aller de la Colombie-Britannique en Asie avec un grand navire, 20 jours aux États-Unis. Et nous avons une abondance de l'énergie pour liquéfaction plus que les autres pays. Donc, nous pouvons le faire moins cher, plus efficace que tous les autres pays du monde. On a juste besoin d'un changement avec un nouveau gouvernement qui va donner le feu vert. Merci.
Thank you. We will go to another question on the call-in line, and this will be the final question.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Marianne Dipolto from Franco Press. Please go ahead.
Bonjour, Monsieur Poilievre, Marianne Despelteaux de Franco Presse. Vous avez confirmé que si élu Premier ministre, vous allez protéger les stations de Radio-Canada à l'extérieur du Québec.
Ouais.
J'aimerais savoir quels sont vos engagements pour les médias francophones hors Québec qui ne sont pas Radio-Canada et qui ont des défis financiers présentement.
Une très bonne question. On a déjà dit qu'on va, on va doubler le montant de financement disponible pour le programme de journalisme local. Ça va favoriser les médias indépendants. On va aussi nous assurer que les médias indépendants aient leur juste part de publicité gouvernementale. On va aussi renverser les politiques de Justin Trudeau et les libéraux qui ont bloqué nos médias locaux d'être sur Facebook, Instagram, et d'autres médias, d'autres réseaux sociaux. Donc, ça va nous permettre d'avoir plus de voix, plus de liberté, surtout pour nos médias francophones à travers le Canada. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. That concludes today's press conference.
All right. Thanks very much, everyone. Let's bring it home. Thank you.